going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I train the simple model. Before I get into it, I will note that we are still making improvements to the simple model. We're making two big improvements. One is just the definition of a lot of the buckets, right? Initially, when we created it, it was basically just to test the infrastructure, and it clearly seems the infrastructure works. It's easy to kind of learn things. Now it's just what do we want it exactly to learn, right? So we're redefining some buckets, adding some more in there just to make it I guess cover more cases. But the flip side is as you introduce more and more buckets, you have to teach it these specific things in more and more different cases, right? So we're also coming up with a way to basically group learnings and apply what you teach it to multiple buckets at the same time. So those are two of the things that we're currently working on, and hopefully once we do implement these, the simple model will be a lot more powerful and a lot more easy to use. With that said, it's already pretty easy to use, at least in my opinion, and I'm going to show you guys how I go about it. And that's why I have basically this page open, ready to go, because I actually reference it a lot when I'm training. For example, if I want to train neutral, I want to check out all the buckets within neutral, and then I want to make sure I'm covering a lot of these cases, because right now we actually don't have the automatic grouping for learning turned on. So we have to go case by case, and I'll show you guys the process that I take to do that before we are going to release the other thing. Okay, so let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, for people in our exclusive access, if you see the crown, it's not because I've surpassed you on the leaderboard, it's because we're running our own internal competition. My coworkers probably think I rigged it, but I didn't. I just spent a lot of time training yesterday. So let's go into the inspector. So what I just did, is I just reset it just for this session, and I'm going to show you how I train it from scratch. So right now it doesn't know how to do anything, right? It's just taking random actions everywhere on the map, no matter what the situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start teaching it stuff, okay? And then if I hop back into here, the first thing I want to teach it is when I'm far from the opponent, I just want it to run towards the opponent, okay? So we'll just do something super simple like that to start. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to do it like on a case-by-case basis. So this is the first thing I want to show it. I'm far. I just want to run towards the opponent. That's it. I'm going to hop into training configuration, and I'm just going to train the model. And you see, that's what I taught it. Run to the right. And if my opponent's on the left side of me, it's just going to run to the left because we have auto inverting turned on. Okay, cool. That's the first skill I taught it. I'm just going to quick save over here. Now, what I need to teach it is what to do when I'm close to the opponent, right? So if I hop back into here, you see when we're close to the opponent, it is a group of buckets, right? I'll start with the first one, where when we're both facing each other, essentially. So I'm going to hop into training over here. So what I want to teach it is when I'm close to the opponent, and the opponent's just idling, I'm going to want it to attack the opponent. Maybe I want to mix in like a forward attack as well, so like a dash attack. Oh, there's an important thing to note if you're training this simple model, is that right now my element, as you see in the bottom corner, is fully charged. And the way it works is that two buckets can be true at the same time. I'm close to the opponent and the opponent is facing me while idling. That's one bucket. Another bucket is I'm close to the opponent while my element is fully charged. That's another bucket. And when two buckets are true, the way it works in our system is we have a priority system. So it's going to choose one over the other. And in this particular case, it's actually going to choose the element. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of my element. Same thing, I'm going to get rid of the opponent's element because those are two different buckets. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it something to do when the opponent is punching. So I'm going to have the opponent punching. And again, I'm going to get rid of my element for now. Sorry, I know that can be a bit annoying. We're working on something there. So while my opponent's punching, what I'm going to want to do is I'm just going to want to shield. Something like that. So essentially what I showed it so far, I showed it two things when they're idling and when they're attacking. Okay, so two things happened. I was holding shield when they weren't attacking as well, so we might want to go back and fix that. But certainly when they were attacking, it increased the probability of shield by a lot. But just because some of it kind of creeped over, I'm going to want to just retrain. I didn't really like that session. So let's hop back in here. And I'm just gonna have my person attack them. And then when they're attacking, I'm just gonna make it so they're like almost always attacking. Yeah, that looks good. Just gonna get rid of this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly turn on shield. There, I think I did it when they were only attacking and not idling. And this is actually really good for perfect shields, which you'll see. Okay, so when they're just idling, I'm attacking. That's good. And when they're attacking, I'm shielding. Perfect. So those are the two things I wanted to teach it. I'll do a quick save over here. That's looking good. So when they're idling, attacking, when they're shielding, we don't know what to do, so that's the next thing we'll train. Okay, so just when they're shielding, what I'm going to want to do is teach it to grab. So again, I'll hop back into here. Okay. Perfect. Just taught it to grab, that's it. And you'll notice I'm building up the skills incrementally. I'm going step by step. I'm not in a rush over here. I want to make sure I'm teaching it exactly what I want it to learn. Perfect. Grabs the opponent when the opponent is shielding. I will quick save over here. Okay, so now I want to see if my AI learned what I showed it. So I'm going to actually face off against my AI. So I'll face off against them. And they're going to run towards me, hopefully, there, and they're going to attack. Perfect. When I'm shielding, they're grabbing, although the distance is messed up, but there you go. That is good. And then I want to get close to them and attack. I want to see if they're going to use the shield. They did, and they perfect shielded me to make sure they're facing me, because that's the only thing I showed it. But okay, cool. It looks like they learned exactly what I showed it, which is perfect. Let me go home and hop back into the inspector. Now what we'll need to do is show it what to do in all the other circumstances. For example, when the opponent's facing away, when we're facing away, all these are different buckets. And again, I mentioned we're going to do some grouping mechanism, but for right now we don't have it, so we have to train each of the individual buckets. The first thing I'll do is teach it what to do when the opponent's facing away and we're facing the opponent. Most likely we're going to want to take advantage of this, so whether they're idle, punching, we're probably always going to want to attack them. Unless, of course, they're shielding, then we're going to want to grab them. So I'll train that really quick. And I'll cover a few different scenarios, actually. So that's the first one, though, is when they're facing away, I'll just attack them. Also, when they're facing away and they're shielding, I'm going to want to grab them. So those are two things that we quickly showed it. What's another one we can show it when they're facing away and they're attacking? Oops, let me just get rid of the elements. When they're attacking, we're also going to want to hit them. And then there's one more. When they're in the air, I'm going to want to do like a flying kick to the side. I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to want to train neutral. When they're facing away from me, good, I'm attacking. When they're shielding, I'm grabbing. When they're attacking, I'm also attacking. When I'm in the air, perfect, I'm going to the right. I'm both attacking and doing the side kick. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to save this bad boy as well. Now we need to train when the opponent's facing us and we're facing away. Yeah, let's do this. So the opponent is facing us. So we're just going to turn around. If the opponent is shielding, I'm just going to turn around. So the reason I just turned around is because there is no technically turn around and grab, right? So as soon as the agent turns around, it's changing direction. It's going to be in a new bucket, and it's going to know if it's turned around and the opponent's shielding, it's just going to grab them. The one thing we do need to train, though, is when the opponent is attacking. So, and when we're facing the opposite direction, I'm going to want to shield. So I'm just going to shield over there. And let's hop into training config, train neutral, and see what it learned. So when we're facing the opposite direction, we're going to want to turn. That's good. When they're attacking, we're going to shield. That's good. When they're shielding, we're just going to turn. Yeah, because once we turn, decrease the probability of grab. That's not good. You know why? because I turned and then I held right for too long. Let's hop back into training over here. Okay, cool. So when they're attacking, I did shield. Just gonna quick save that. So I think we have a lot of the fundamentals down. There's still a plenty of stuff we can do, but I want to actually simulate and see how it performs. Obviously, the first thing we need to show it before we do that is how to recover. So I'll show it that now, and then we can start simulating and see how good it is. Of course, I think there's still a lot of room that we can improve. So the first thing, one of the buckets is when the opponent is far from you. So that was one recovery I did. Also, when the opponent is like edge guarding you, i.e. when they're like close. Oh, also, actually while I'm doing that, it's just because I'm kind of used to it, let me show you guys the new feature we introduced. So if we go into settings, we have a new spawning feature. So we can position our opponent or our guy anywhere and it can spawn there. I'll turn spawning on. I'll set my spawn point. Now I put it under the stage. And I just have to click enter and it automatically spawns there, so I can start training recovery from that specific area, right? So I turn data collection on, and now I can basically just recover from that area. Isn't that cool? So why don't we pause right here, go into training config. I'm specifically focused on recovering, right? So I'm just going to train the model. Okay, cool. So it's learning to recover. When I'm under the platform, when I'm here, it goes to the left, and it goes to the right. That looks good. When I'm here, it kind of doesn't know where to go in the middle. But once it does pick a side, it knows where to go from there. That looks good. When they're edge guarding, it looks kind of similar. What I notice is when we're far, it focuses a lot on the bicycle kick and not as much on these. So I need to pump these up the next training session. But we'll do a quick save over here. I'll just do one more training session to pump the jump and attack up. So I'll hop into training. So what I'm going to do, I just focused on that and I didn't do the bicycle kick. I'm going to train recovery. And this is when they're edge guarding. Okay, it's looking good. I'm going to bump up the learning multiplier a little bit. No, I'll reduce the bicycle a bit too much. Okay, this is good. It's almost like equal probability. And there's some probability of like idling basically because you actually need that, right? You need empty space between doing the moves in order to achieve maximum height. Okay, and then when they're far, I need to fix this one as well, and then we'll hop right into simulation. So when they're far, I need to... There you go. Again, just focus on recovery. Bump up the learning multiplier a little bit just to make the probabilities a little more even. A little bit more. That was a little too much. Like something like that. Okay, perfect, perfect. Quick save. Okay. I think we're good to go. Actually, sorry. Two more things I'm going to do. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So one thing I want to do is when we have our element charged, I want it to fire against the opponent. And then when we have an element coming towards us, so opponents, and it's coming towards us, I want it to know to shield. Those are the two things I want. I want it to know how to do. Yep. Okay, I'll train those really quick. They should be easy. I'll show you guys how I train it. So, wait for our element to charge. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know, but if you attack more, the element charges faster. So we do this to encourage more aggressive gameplay. So I'll turn training on, and I'll just do the element when I have it charged. But when the opponent fires this against us, cool. So I showed it to fire my element on the opponent. I showed it to block the opponent's element, and now I'll show it also to fire the element when I'm close to the opponent. I think that's good. So let's go in and train. I think we only showed it in 2 states when I'll just click train. Ah, see, we did some stuff in neutral. I don't want it to learn the neutral. I only want it to learn when we have an on-stage advantage and on-stage disadvantage. The on-stage advantage is when we have our element charged and we're ready to shoot the projectile. The on-stage disadvantage is when we have a projectile coming towards us. So I'll click train model so it doesn't affect anything I showed it in neutral, right? And now if I bump up my element, perfect. It's going to do special far away and close to the opponent. This is perfect. Now, if we have an element coming towards us, right? So change the direction and say it's from the opponent. Beautiful. We're going to shield. All right. Going to save. I think we are ready to go. So let's do simulation. Let's go against the Gwei and see what's going on. Let's go. Beautiful. Okay, so there's a lot of situations where she's kind of doing random stuff because I didn't show her in those specific situations, like vertical combat, she doesn't know what to do. But it's coming together, like she did the projectile there, that was perfect. I'm keen to see how her recovery is. She doesn't really know what to do at the top of the map. Oh, she was so close there. We have a lot of improving to do. Okay. I already know where we're going to start improving, but good. The element move is coming along good. That was bad. All right, let's go. Let's go. Boom. First KO, first KO. Nice. Okay. Okay, she doesn't know what to do in that situation. I need to school her. Okay. Nice. Beautiful. 2 KOs. Guys, we already have 2 KOs and we still have so much to teach her still. We haven't really got to see her recoveries that much. She's just been dominating the stage. Okay, let's see. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I know what went wrong there. I'll show you guys. Okay, not bad. So obviously the projectile is just on target. Like it knows how to do that really well. That's one of the super advantages of the simple config is that is a specific bucket when your projectile is charged and you're in line with the opponent. Ooh, that was so close. Okay, watch. Ah, just missed it. There you go. There you go. Recovered, recovered. But she doesn't know what to do at the top of the map. I'll show you guys why. Because that's a separate bucket that we forgot to cover. Oh, that almost killed. Come on, come on. No. Oh, oh God, we were so close. We were so close. Okay. That's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys learned a bit about how I at least train the simple model. And I hope it's helpful. And we will certainly let you guys know when we release a lot of the other cool stuff to make training simple model even simpler.